Yeehaw! Yes, it is Thursday. It is 9, so it's UK Cowboys time. How are we doing, Mr. Addicted to Cigars, Paul Stewart?
I feel like a top G, my friend.
Like a king. And although there are, should we say, for advertising purposes, other cigars available in the world, what are you smoking? What brand?
Brick House.
Nice. We like that.
Connecticut trap.
Yeah, gotta be. That's the nicest one out there. But
I've got you to thank though for that, because that Camacho was my first ever Connecticut, so
yes,
it was delicious.
There was a lot of things delicious about that weekend. We had a great time, but also we watched the Eagles lose.
Oh, fantastic.
Uh,
It seems that Nick Sirianni, right, from actually, I don't know what did he do at that, that there's that one video clip of him and Jalen Hurts on the sideline, and Hurts slams his hand down, it's like, come on now, behave. Did he wave to Patrick Mahomes or something like that?
Yeah, so what happened is that was immediately after Patrick Mahomes got injured, if you remember. He had the ankle go down.
No, surely not.
Yeah, so like they were going to come back on the field because they weren't sure what was going to happen. So he was waving as if to like say, oh no, stay off the field, stay over there. And obviously Hurts has blown his arm like, no, behave, stop it. That's not adult-like behavior.
That guy's an absolute trash bag, man, honest to God.
He fits in well then.
Yeah, fits that organization very, very nicely.
Yeah, I know. I was getting, I don't know if you see, I was getting absolutely troll beaten on Twitter by Eagles fans.
I tried to stay away from social media because I was on social media just to kind of see the tears and whatever and that, and by God, I've got me some Eagles tears right now.
Oh yeah. I was getting proper blasted. I was coming through thick and fast as well. I was like, whoa. Okay, notifications off. So fun times.
Well, according to other people, they said they flipped the bird. So if that's the case, then
no.
Sirianni is a complete scumbag. If that's the case,
no, he wasn't. He was like sort of like motioning for the Chiefs offense to stay off the field, like there's no point in coming back out, sort of thing. And Hurts is just like, no, come on, behave.
I'll give Hurts his credit. He showed a bit of class there. I'll give him that.
Yeah,
as much as I don't like him because he plays for the team, but he has got a lot of of all the players in the Eagles, I have to admit he has got a bit of class. I have to admit he doesn't down opposing teams or anything like that. It's like the complete polar opposite that should be on that Eagles team.
True,
from personality wise. So, but yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this, but.
It's okay. You got it. You're right.
Hey, listen, I'm just happy the fact that we don't have to put up with our crap for
6 months.
Yeah, so
although it's going to come back, as you know, as it always does in the draft, they're going to do something troll-like. Do you know what I mean? When they get their guy to go up and do their pick and talk about their one Super Bowl.
But the problem is, though, they try and copy us. So
this is what they did.
That's what they did.
Yeah, I mean, basically, we
had a Hall of Famer wide receiver, the original number 88. Who did they get? A punter,
yeah,
or a kicker. Who? I don't even know who the hell this guy is. Screw that guy.
And he was still waiting for his voice to drop too.
Do you have a soundbite for that?
Yeah, I should. I should get it because that would be quite funny.
Yeah, but I'm just looking at the comments right now. So our good friend Steve Barker says, "I've savored every moment." Yes, Steve. Yes,
he was actually, because the UK Cowboys were out enforcing Leeds.
Steve led the way on social media. By the way,
he was tagging us.
Thank you, good sir. He led the way. He got the party started by coming to the trolling. So on you, Steve. Hell yeah.
And he did. He made a comment. It was something like, because at this point the Eagles were winning, and he was like, "Listen, I don't want you talking about this on the show." Man, I am really close to this flag.
What can you say? You're attached to the star, my man.
Yeah, I know. It's just magnetizing. It's magnetizing.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, I've just noticed you brought that in closer.
Yeah.
We can't see like all your jerseys now, though.
I'm trying this layout.
Downsizing.
Yeah, I'm experimenting in terms of layout right now. So I might switch back. I might switch it to the other side of the room. I'm just trying to play about what to do right now in terms of the layout, because obviously I want to try and see how this works in terms of setup, whatever and that. But anyway, enough of that. Enough about my setup. How are you doing? Yeah.
Yeah, all good, man. Yeah. So we're here. I mean, normally there are more of us, but there's been people with some technical hitches going on, and
there's a bug. There is a bug, and don't forget, there's a bug going about as well. I got it when I came back from Leeds. I was done on Tuesday.
Yeah. I think that's called a hangover.
No, I was perfectly. Remember, we didn't really drink on the Super Bowl night. We didn't really drink that much because we were suffering on the Sunday morning So for anyone who doesn't know, the majority of the UK Cowboys fans admin group and a few others in the fan group did manage to make the trip up to Leeds. It wasn't big this year compared to last year, but still, we still had a great time. So me, Jamie, and Mike, and a few of Jamie's friends, we all went out to Saturday night, and let's just say we had a couple of too many beers. Shall we say?
Stayed out later than we should have.
Yep. And we had a good couple of cigars that night as well. Sunday, we felt like crap. We ended up watching the Leeds and Man United game. And I felt bad for Jamie because we're obviously what happened with Man United.
Yeah, that was a robbed game.
Yeah, that was I don't apologies to any Man United fans and to my boss RJ, but you guys do not deserve to win. You guys do not deserve to win that game. I'm sorry, Leeds were the better team.
I forgot we should have messaged RJ.
We should have actually. Yeah.
We were supposed to speak to Jay Tuck as well on Super Bowl night and Barry, but the signal in the casino is not very good because there's too many people in there.
Yeah, let's not talk about the casino, please.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Did you make back in the end?
I'm still about 100 quid down, so
it's not too bad from what you were.
It's not too bad. I mean, roulette completely screwed me over, but that slot machine with my £15 signing up voucher saved me. So hell yes.
Oh wait! If you're gonna give it a hell yeah, then we need to.
Yeah. There we
go. So we're into the draft period now. We've got articles and other shows where we're just talking about the NFL draft. The Prospect Project will start on a Tuesday going forward. Didn't do it this Tuesday because of Valentine's Day and post Super Bowl. It would not be good if I didn't take the wife out for Valentine's meal.
And that you did. You took her for a very lovely meal. It was it was
lovely.
The pictures look great.
Yeah, lobster and steak. It was really good.
There we go.
Can't go wrong with that. She had drinks. I was driving, designated driver. But
I'm good. I am. I'm like, so just before you move on, I just want to make sure, right? Yeah. Like, well, not make sure, but just so that people know, like, so on the day when the Super Bowl finished, Mike immediately drove home, pretty much. Drove home at 5 o'clock in the morning from Leeds back down to Cardiff, which is like a 4-hour drive.
Yeah, about 4 hours, yeah.
Right. Right after that, then he obviously had the day ahead. Then he decided to take his lovely wife out for dinner. That is balls of steel.
Mate, that is training. And many people who are fans of the Dallas Cowboys or the NFL in the UK will know what it's just like to drive around and try and get on with your day feeling completely whacked.
Yep. Hence we're bold, my friend.
There you go. It's living off 2 time zones. As I said before to Meg, you either get used to it or have a psychotic episode.
Work hard, play hard, my friend.
So, we spoke to Meg, mind you, on the Super Bowl. That was fun. Yeah, we did. Yeah.
I do not remember.
Sent her a picture, and she was like, "Ah, there's my two
Oh,
guys."
yeah. I thought you meant actually on the phone. I was
No,
like,
no.
no. I was like, wait, I don't remember that.
Yeah. But yes.
Labastri's in the house.
Who won the Super Bowl?
I don't know, Labastri. You tell us who won the Super Bowl.
There was a Super Bowl. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously now we're into the complete off season. We're at the longest length of time now before there is any football again. So it's going to be a slog.
Yeah.
But we're into the draft season, which is good. So that gives us plenty to talk about, plenty to look at, plenty to play with. We'll try and get some more videos as well. People seem to enjoy them, of the little highlight clips of players. So we'll get some more of them out to you guys.
Absolutely.
There is some big news as well. So listen at the end of the show. It's all about the UK Cowboys trip to America.
Oh, yeah.
It's come in. The big news has come in.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
So we will put it on our social media tomorrow as well, so people have the information to hand. Make sure you check it out. It's all about all the things that are how to book, what you need to do, and even a little special nugget in there for being a UK Cowboys fan and booking with it. So yes, into the draft season. Prospect Project is going to start Tuesday with me and Brian, and probably Paul will join in too, because we're going to look at 6. We're basically the Prospect Project looking at individual players rather than broadly. We specifically pick players and break them down. 6 interior offensive linemen are coming in on Tuesday, so that's going to be fun. Tonight, though, we're just going to look at the NFL draft as a whole for the Dallas Cowboys. This week, I thought we'd look, Paul, at first round options for the Cowboys. I know you've got a few for yourself. Let us know at home as well. You're the MVPs of the show. Tell us who the guys are that you like. I'm going to bring my draft board up as well, because that's
before we do that, mind, a few of the comments are mentioned about Ezekiel Elliott. This is news to me. Apparently, there's a lot of...
Go on. I know the news, but
yeah, so Joe has mentioned, I heard out of Dallas, they told Zeke either take the pay cut or get released. And same with Steve's views on the seat tonight. So this is news to me. I've been chock-a-block. So this, like, anything you guys say to me tonight, this is me getting up to date. So
come on the show to get up to date. Well,
technically, I'm finally over my cold. So
yeah. What they said, or what Zeke's agent said, is at the combine is when they're going to discuss it and when they're going to look at it and see where they go going forward with this. Does he take a pay cut and stay in Dallas, or does he go and get released and try and get money elsewhere? Does obviously mean there's going to be issues, though, with Zeke. A lot of dead cap money. I think it's about 14 mil in dead cap.
See, that's the didn't we not learn that lesson with who did we cut last year? Lyle Collins. Like, saying that we're gonna look to try and trade look to trade him. If we don't trade him, we're going to cut him. So people weren't going to look to trade for him anyway, because we're going to cut him anyway. So why are we putting ourselves in this situation? Why? Like, don't say that we're going to cut him if we can't come to a deal. Don't do that, because other teams are like, well, we're just going to sit here and wait, and that's try and get him for free, get him on a cheaper deal without losing any draft capital. Look what Derek Carr just did for this. To the Raiders. He says, no, I am not trading with anyone. I want you guys to release me. So therefore, other teams I do sign for do not lose any trade capital. Our draft capital, sorry. So for me to look at this is absolutely bonkers. I'm sorry. It's bonkers.
And the other thing as well is, obviously with the release, or the contract doesn't follow you. When you trade, the contract follows you too. Then it's up to the new team you're with to negotiate from there. So that's what Derek Carr's going on about, and it's a very similar thing with Zeke. For me, though, I just feel, because of how quickly it came out with Zeke, in terms of, I want a different deal or whatever, I think it will get sorted. It'll get organized with what he wants. the issue is if they keep Zeke on this West Coast offense as well, which is going to be tricky for him. How they use him, I don't know on a West Coast offense, but you wonder then if that's the case, what that leaves Tony. Because I think it's a case of one or the other, not both.
If it's me personally, I would cut Pollard and get another good, decent running back in the third or fourth round. That's just me. That's saving more money in the cap that way. I would not want a franchise tag, because why would you franchise an injured player? Like, for 1 year, you're not going to get a full season out of unless you have the intention of give him an extended deal at the process like we did with DeMarcus Lawrence.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But to me, it's very dirty territory what we're on right now. We are in a very, very dirty cloud when it comes to the running backs right now.
And the thing is, you're talking about Tony Pollard with the injury. The same thing is going on with the offensive line. When you think Terrence Steele. So there's just so many unknowns in terms of like the offense at this stage and how you're going to go about going about it. Which is why I personally, I know you're going to get, well, let's go back. Somebody asked me the question at the beginning of the week about, who's a player you think could be quite an important piece that wasn't last year. And I was like, well, Matt Willetsko, with the way the offensive line is, he is going to play a big role. He's going to be a big part in it. And the good thing is from his injury, which I think he would have recovered by about halfway through the season, that means he's had like a season and a half, if you think about it, of training and getting up to speed and getting, where he needs to be.
Yeah. 2 seconds, mate.
Trying to type and talk at the same time, are we?
Yeah. I've put something in our group chat. I just wanted just to kind of read it just now.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry for the mid interruption here, folks. Just want to make sure we're doing something correctly here.
Yes. So yeah, there's the Willetsko part of it, who's going to be quite important, depending on how quickly, how fast, Terrence Steele can come along. That's going to be a big part in it all. And I know you're a big one of your favorite parts is offensive line.
Well, absolutely. Me having to play the position, I played left tackle and left guard for 4 years. Then I transitioned into defensive line, played for D-line for 2.5 years. 2.5 years, because I only played half a season. So, because of the injury. So, yeah. Anything to talk about O-line or D-line? Yeah.
So, I mean, do you think, though, they would take an inside offensive lineman knowing this draft class at 26?
If Osiris is there from Florida, yes.
Ooh.
If the guard from Florida is there at 26, yes, we're taking him.
He is a man mountain.
Because the way I'm seeing it right now, like, there is going to be a high demand now with these wide receivers coming out now. I don't see us getting any of those top 5 guys that are basically projected to be in the first. Like, we might, like, if all the receivers are gone and Osiris is gone, that offensive lineman is gone, we're ever going to go cornerback or reach for a guy that might jump into the first round, aka like Josh Downs from North Carolina. That's the way I'm kind of seeing it. So that's kind of like that thought process from last week when we did the mock draft.
Yeah. I seen your mock draft because last week I was a bit rough, so I couldn't join the show. Yeah, wide receiver, like this draft, and I hate to say it, but this draft class as a whole is actually, in terms of talent pool, is not as talented as it has been in the past. More specifically, though, is the wide receivers. And I'm going through them, and the more I go through them, I'm just like, And like how it's been in the past, Paul, where like the wide receivers have always been like the leading talent pool of the draft class. It's always like, wow, look at these wide receivers. Look, like, you just think of last year, think of the year before. You just go back for the last half decade. the wide receivers have been ballers. This year, there's some nice ones, and you can get like a bit of a mix of certain types of guys, like, oh, he's a speedster, he's a slot only, he's a possession receiver. There's a lot of that, but in terms generally of the wide receiver class, I spoke to Dave Hellman on this one too, is that generally it's not as good as it has been in the past.
I mean, I suppose that Njimba guy from Ohio State, I do like the look of him. And obviously we've got Quentin Johnson from TCU.
Yeah,
like those guys are, like, to me, are definitely going to be first rounders for sure. You know?
Yeah.
But
no, definitely.
We have no chance of getting them unless we trade up, strip out some amounts to get. But there's no point us trading up for a wide receiver. There's no point.
No way.
Like, because we've got our number one. Gallup is coming back for his comeback year. Well, I would like to think that last season was a bit of a void because we pressured Gallup to come back sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think with him now having a full year recovery, better off season, he's no injuries now lingering now. I expect him to play like our number two wide receiver next year. The problem is we don't have a number 3 or a number 4. We had moments of a number 3 and a number 4, but not on a consistent basis. We didn't have like the trio of wide receivers that we had previously before with Dez and Terrence Williams and Cole Beasley. Like, those 3 were actually quite a good wide receiver core unit back the day we were Toba Romo. So, but we do need a solid number 3 guy in there. So whether we draft in the first round might be a bit too high, but there is some good wide receivers in there that could fill that gap for a number 3 for sure.
Yeah. And because obviously it's West Coast, I agree. You need a 3 and a 4.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah. And you need a guy as well. Not like Michael Gallup is totally fine. That's fine. You can live with that. But going forward, you definitely need 2 wide receivers that can play both the slot and outside.
Absolutely.
Like Michael Gallup from the slot is a no-no. We know Lamb can do it. Lamb can literally play anyway. So now you're after another 2 guys who can play, who have that level of versatility to play different roles in that offense. And that's why I just think, like, when you go through it, like Zay Flowers, Nathaniel, Tank Dell, they're options, but not in the first. I'm back to you again on this one, where it's like, they're great wide receivers. The issue is they're guys that are going to go high in the second round, but they're too rich to take in the first round.
Yeah, definitely. But
yeah, so that's where I'm at. And I know you like Jackson Smith. I know.
I do like him. I do like him, but it's too rich of a pick for, like, do we really need one of those guys?
Another type, yeah.
Potentially, maybe it might spread the board a little bit more, maybe. But I think we need more of an actual slot that can play the deep route.
Yeah, they can
rather than a deep route playing that can play slot.
Yeah,
like
you watch Jackson Smith. It's just like it's great talent, brilliant wide receiver, but he's much the same of what we've already got and what we had. And I think that the playoffs showed you as well the issues of having too much of the same type of wide receiver. It just becomes easy to defend. That's just I got no problem with Jackson Smith. I think he's a great wide receiver, but I'm always have concern about having, like, when people say, "Oh yeah, you got to get him." I'm just like, so I get where you're coming from. I just worry about, is it too much of the same? Yeah. Too much of the same thing.
So I know we're talking about, like, we just kind of sidestepped to talking about receivers, and you asked me about, like, offensive linemen for the draft and stuff like that. But Labassi just made the comment there. Let me bring it up. Brian Broadus was talking about Torrance's slow feet. I believe you're talking about Osiris Torrance.
Yeah.
Slow feet, and it worried me. What's your report? Like, I can tend to agree with Broadus's analysis on that, but I'm not particularly too worried because he's such a unit, he's hard to move back. I'm not that particularly worried about the feet, but if we're pulling him, then that's a concern. pulling, if he's if he utilized as a pulling guard, that could be a bit of a disaster. But for him to be a bit of a run blocker, not a problem at all. No problem. Like, he may have a slow feet, but he still keeps he still forces defensive linemen back beyond the line of scrimmage. So that's all you need for that from a juggernaut type of guy and that type of guard position.
Yeah, what he's referring to really broad is when he's talking about the slow feet is like how he can be susceptible to speed rushes, and like the issue you got. Because he can to the smaller, shiftier guys, but that's basically down to
that's down to your gap assignment, though. Like, so ideally, like, no matter regardless how positioned you are, like if you're a tackle, right, and you've got if your head's up or as the defensive lineman edge rushers on the outside, that's always going to be your guy unless he goes into the B gap or B gap, which is like in between the tackle and the guard.
Yeah.
Like, primarily, like, the guard will have to do a check and make sure, like, if he is coming in, then he'll kind of lend that support, but he will always have his first assignment based on if the 3 tech or 1 tech or whatever the assignment is, that's their main priority. So it just really depends on their assignment as the O-line. So I think, will they fit in the West Coast offense? Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah. But I mean, the good thing is if you are doing the West Coast offense, some of that is obviously, your quick slants and crossing routes. So, you could probably get away with a bit of that because, what I see when he's talking about the slow feet is more with the speed rushes, and because Torrance is quick off the snap. When you watch him on that snap, that burst, especially.
But what do you mean by the speed rushers? Like, you mean them coming back inside?
Yeah, coming in quick at him. Like, off the burst, he's quick. He's there. But as the play is developing, if he's against a speed rusher and they're coming back in on site, he can get lumbering. He can get lumbered down, but that's because he's so big. He's a big guy. It's a lot of man to move.
Right. I'm not so sure, mate. I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah, you'll see. I'll send you something on against a couple of.
I'm just thinking from the perspective because I played the position.
Yeah.
Like, because if it was me, right, if I'm playing at guard, right, and I have to do a check to see, like, obviously, I'll need to make sure that my center's dealt with. More importantly, sorted from the inside. I'll also need to, like, you basically got one, like, no a double team, but a pad in the shoulder, whatever, and that whether it's in pass protection. But if you're checking the other side, then obviously you're going to move. Right. I see what you mean now. So, right, you're talking about the reaction going from your original assignment to the other one that could be a bit of a delay, right? I get, that makes more sense, right? I probably need to still see some more film about that. So if you can hit me up with that, then that would be cool. But
I'll show you
But from my initial actual video footage of terms of the run offense, in terms of blocking, I will take him in a heartbeat, 100%.
Yeah, and imagine this: him and Tyler Smith together, who are just both animals when it comes to run blocking. They'd be side by side, which is pretty impressive. I mean, the guy who I would like, but I'm hoping he drops far enough in the second round, which is why I wouldn't necessarily take him. An inside offensive lineman in the first round, although usually you don't see it anyway. Is Michael Schmitz. If he can drop far enough, I know people say, "Oh, he played center," but what I saw in the Senior Bowl when he was playing. They gave him snaps at guard.
Yeah.
It was just natural. It just carried on, and he was doing it as well. I went back to look. He was doing it as a left guard and a right guard. By the way he was turning his body, so you could see which way he was coming off his first foot, off his attacking foot. And I was like, interesting.
Yeah,
they were really trying to expose him.
Yeah. Schmitz did impress me, I have to admit. I do like Avia from TCU as well. I do like him. I like him as well. But I think
yeah.
He'll be like a late second, early third round, I reckon, perhaps at best.
Yeah, just trying to find my grade on him. I've got him quite far down. 81 and 80, so that's third round, basically.
Right.
Where I've got him ranked. I mean, some people are saying because of the uncertainty of tackle, would you go tackle in the first round if it was as well with BPA involved?
No, I wouldn't.
No.
No.
Wait later.
I would go later, personally. Like, I want to unless the guy plays at right.
I probably there's just bigger fish to fry.
There's much more bigger need elsewhere, I think. And considering the improvement our O-line did this year, I think there's more need. Like, I would say linebackers more of a priority than tackle. I would say cornerback's more important than tackle. I would say wide receivers more important than tackle.
Yeah. No, I would agree. Wide receivers just purely because of numbers that we need more of them. And people keep saying as well one about T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton's not coming back. He's done. He's not that he's done, but he's gonna do what he done this year. He's just gonna chill out. He's gonna wait. He's gonna hang about, and then from there he's gonna make a decision. With whatever he decides to do. That's just how I see it. I just don't see him coming back. But here's an interesting one. How high of so let's do this hypothetical so I can see how high you would take in the first round, this particular case. So Combine comes along. Zeke and his agent talk to Jerry and the crew about his contract situation.
I know what you're going to ask me. I know what you're going to ask me. You're going to ask me about Bijan Robinson, aren't you?
Kinda. But here it is, right? Running backs. So Zeke goes, nah, sorry, I'm not willing. Release me, and they do, right? Tony Pollard, he's injured, so we don't know how his season's going to start, whether he's even with the Cowboys. Now we're into draft with zero running back, with Malik Davis, who is RB3 as our starting running back.
Well,
would you take a running back in the first round now?
Nope.
Okay. Not even if the number one running back is available to you at, say, 24 for a trade up?
Nope. If someone wants to trade up for him, I'll take it. I'm sorry. I am not taking enough first round on a running back. Because the reason why I'm saying that, when you look at all the other teams right now, they've got running back by committee right now. I don't care. I don't care how special a player is. Like, Robinson is a special player, don't get me wrong, but his pass protection is garbage. I'm sorry. He cannot pass block to say, see if he's not rushing the ball, he's got nothing else. Giving the ball, he's great. Helping him out, helping his quarterback, no. So I am not on board with the Robinson train, and I'm sorry if I'm upsetting anybody, but I am not on board with it. I'm sorry. And the reason I'm saying that, look at the other teams right now. Look at the other teams. Look at the likes of the Chiefs and look at the likes of the Eagles that were in the Super Bowl. None of those running backs were first rounders. Some of them were actually journeymen in the actual NFL. Some of them have actually been in the league for 10, 15 years on their last years, final years of playing football, and they've just managed to do it on really very small, $1 million a season contracts. That's, to me, running back by committee. I think that is maybe something we may start looking to consider. Especially if we're going for likes of the West Coast offense. Variety.
You're gonna need some more faster, shiftier running backs that can catch the ball from the slot, halfback wheels, wheel routes. You're gonna need a lot more of that, which is why I keep saying about the issue with Zeke on this West Coast offense is like, what kind of role do you give him? Do you know what I mean? It's so tricky to try and carve a role
Right.
with Zeke's style.
The problem, right. So the problem is, right, the problem with Zeke is he's been utilized wrong. This is my personal opinion, right? When you look at how Zeke was utilized under Scott Linehan, we had the best of Zeke, hands down. He was like the creme de la creme. He was the top rusher, etc., etc. Right? Under Kellen Moore, his production dropped down. He was utilized more as a power back type of style running back, if that makes sense. Using to get all those dirty yards, and you would throw Tony Pollard in, and there's your highlight reel.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm being too, I don't know what's the word, too Zeke minded. I'm not. I'm just seeing it as it is. I'm seeing it what I'm seeing on the screen. Like when you compare, like, because Zeke is actually, like, when you look at Zeke in his off season, he looks in great shape. He looks quick. He looks fast. He looks great. But when you actually put him in like team scenarios and stuff like that, he looks as though he's just been used for one thing and one thing only, and that's it. It's just bringing down the thunder, pretty much. We can't.
Yeah.
So, me personally, I think we've been utilizing them wrong for the past 3 seasons. So,
I think in the off season when he lost some weight, I think that helped him out a bit. Helped him get through the season when he trimmed down. I thought it was for more to utilize him more in the passing game, trim him down so he could be a bit more athletic on the outside. Turned out it was just a move for for availability's sake to try and get some of that weight off him.
Right. So I'm going to bring a comment. Our long-time UK Cowboys fan, not UK Cowboys fan, UK Cowboys fan, part of the group. Sorry, Mr. Andrew Valente says Zeke has lost it. I disagree, because this is kind of brings up to my point, like, because he's been utilized wrong, and we're seeing the bad side of it because of how he's been utilized. That's just like, I might be going crazy here, but
I don't think he's lost it. Definitely, when you say Zeke has lost it, and the guy was on double-digit touchdowns for the year, I know a lot of them are goal line plungers, but you still got to make them. Tony Pollard wouldn't have made them.
No, Tony Pollard never have made those goal line touches. No chance.
Yeah.
Well, if you're like within 5 yards of the end zone, who are you going to trust
Still
more?
tough. Still
Zeke.
tough. And when Zeke's on the field as well, and on the 5-yard line, defenses are stacking up, and you watch it, and you go, yeah, they know exactly what you're doing. They know exactly where it's going. So literally at that moment, it's you imposing your will on them more. And we all know what. And a lot of people talk about Zeke's pass blocking, which is fine. It is good. It is a plus to his game because it keeps him on those early downs, because you can keep him out there. But to me, his biggest plus isn't that. His biggest plus is those dirty yards where you see him stuffed at the line of scrimmage. He disappears, he goes down. When he stands up, he's gone 3 yards. And you're just like, how did that happen? How did he manage to make 3 yards out of what should be a -1 yard?
See, again, like, and this is like what everyone's now using it, like, and I'm not gonna have a dig at anybody. I'm just saying, like, everyone keeps using it. It's like, but Zeke's on so much money. It's because
not his fault.
It's not his fault.
Yeah.
The fact is that Jerry gave him that money because of his production as that type of running back. And since we changed offensive coordinator from Linehan to Moore, we saw a different type of running back. That's not on Zeke's fault.
Offense.
Different type of offense. That's not Zeke's fault. Zeke's been told exactly what he's been doing. He's been doing his job. Like, it might not look pretty, but he's still doing his job. He's protecting Dak. He's getting those 30 yards. Like, I get the frustration. It's a lot of money. Yeah, for that a lot of money, you expect Zeke to be over 1,000 yards still over a season.
Yeah.
You expect that, and I totally agree. But if he's being utilized incorrectly, you're not going to get that production. And this is what I keep saying.
And a big one as well is don't forget how decimated that offensive line. I'm not making excuses, but I'm saying, and I did remember I did the comparison when Terrence Steele went out, and we did the comparison on both running backs, and it was literally the average yards per carry when Steele went out for those last few weeks. The production was halved. The average yards per carry were half the amount than what they were for like the first 11 weeks or whatever it was. It's a crazy difference. And that offensive line did take some punishment. When you go through it and you think about the pieces that they lost, and even Tyron Smith started the season injured, and then Waletsko goes out at the start of the season. I know I mentioned him earlier, but he goes out to start the season. Like we were one injury away from having Josh Ball being our starting offensive lineman.
See, Labarski, I'm going to bring up Labarski's comment, and he actually does make a fair point. What I'm describing, mostly myself, as a fullback. He's not being utilised as that impact running back, and that's what Zeke should be.
I would say he needs a fullback.
Well, we bring back Keith Smith. Why not? Man. You know what I mean? But I know I'm having one of those crazy nights. Obviously, I've got my cigar, I've got my whiskey here, so I'm having a crazy night, folks. But I do agree. Like,
emotional damage.
Touche. But yeah, I will agree though with some of the comments. We will draft a running back.
I think so too.
Who? It's a gamble. It's well, that's the thing about the draft. Everything is a gamble.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I do like Jamar Gibbs from Alabama in the second round. I don't know if that falls, but if we're going into the third round, I know Jacques Charbonnet from UCLA is going to be there, and
we've got comments already loving the Uncle Roger.
Yeah, Charbonnet.
Oh, honestly, but with Labarski, we've got more sound bites to go with that, by the way.
Hold on. There we go. Yeah, but that air horn is going to be used as we get closer to things. But I do think they are going to have to go out and definitely draft a running back regardless. Because like I say, I do think that they are going to have to draft one because it's going to be Zeke or Pollard. It's not going to be both. But here's you, Paul. If you think about West Coast offense, right? And you're going to like this. We can pick up maybe the best guy to slot in to that role on day 3 as a running back, and you can use him as a wide receiver too, which we've seen in the Senior Bowl, is Tajay Spears.
Possibly, yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
I do like, and I don't know what your thoughts is on that if we were to move away from Pollard. I do like, and you I think you might like this because this is one of your guys actually from your college as the running back from Texas A&M.
Yeah, Devon A-Chain.
Yeah, I like him. I like him a lot.
And he's got some pass blocking to him.
Yeah, he's got some ability to pass blocking. I would say he's a better pass blocker than Pollard. I will say that. But his straight line running ability, no one is going to catch him. No chance. He's so quick. I think he's like a 4.25, 4.29 or something like that.
Un momento, faster than that. So when they did his last, this can't be right, surely. But when they did his last 40 time in College Station, he ran a 4.24.
What's the NFL record? 4.21.
So yeah,
and that was like John Ross.
Yeah, John Ross.
My God, goodness.
That can't be right. He is quick, but he's an elusive guy, and it does fit that West Coast role with A-Chain. I never really thought about it before.
Yeah, and I do like DJ Dog's comment is Sean Tucker from Syracuse.
Sean Tucker's good. I do like Sean Tucker.
Yeah.
I mean, like if I can bring him up now. The only issue I have with Tucker is he's more of a guy I would have had if we had kept Kellen Moore for that style of offense. Because Tucker, he is a good running back. He's slow. He's that bowling ball type. I can get his measurables. Hold on. So like he's 5'10", 205 in weight. So he's that I mean, like, because he can receive the ball. I've got him marked down as being a good receiver. But with him, it's all about burst. It's that initial burst, that strike. That's what Tucker's really good at. I do like him. See, now you got me thinking of different types of running backs that fit the West Coast in this draft.
That's one thing. This is the whole good thing about coming up for this draft prospect we're going to be doing. It's looking at the different styles of these running backs, the different styles of these offensive guards, the different styles of these cornerbacks. Like, and this is the beauty about the draft. It's like you're thinking about what is going to be best suited for this upcoming Mike McCarthy offensive style. So I'm excited about this. So, I will say this, Mike.
Sorry, I'm getting a cigar out. I can see yours, so I'm going in my cigar box.
Right, so when you look at last season, right?
Yeah.
When you look at last season, I was not excited about our off season. The fact that we let go certain players and we didn't really address certain needs. I thought, like, we did do well in the draft, etc., but it wasn't enough. But we managed to make it work to a certain extent. The problem is we just weren't consistent. And that's on Kellen Moore, who now thankfully he's gone. But as if anyone doesn't know, I am not a Kellen Moore fan. But with this now, it's like a nice reset button. It's like, okay, like we've got a different direction here, perhaps. We've got a different type of offense. It's going to be a new learning experience. It means different type of style of players we're going to be drafting that we might not have ever drafted before or drafted in a long time. So that to me is exciting. I'm really excited to see what we are going to do. Like if we do, like, see if we did draft Bijan Robinson, okay, cool. Am I going to be upset about it? No, to a certain extent. I'd be more worried the fact that that's got that little bit less protection from a running back. That's my only concern. Am I happy the fact that our running game is going to be that much better if we do draft Robinson? Absolutely. But when you look at all these other guys, like the guy from A&M, Syracuse, etc., they all have good tangibles and good traits for certain scenarios. Absolutely. So this is what I think is going to be so interesting as we lead up to the draft this year.
Yeah, and you know, there's guys that would fit this West Coast office so nicely, even on day 3, and now you're talking real value, and I think it's going to work. But here's one. It's interesting because I'm doing all the scouting reports at the moment. Something that cropped up that I'm quite interested in now after watching, like, literally. I mean, at one point I had to take a break because I was watching too much tape on him.
You take a break? My goodness, Mike, never.
Andre Carter from Army, linebacker. Now,
I've heard a lot about him, but I've not seen anything of him yet because I've not really looked into much of linebacker yet. I've been looking at interior D line and offensive and interior O line. That's all I've been looking at the moment. Yeah, little John.
So I mean, like, because I think linebackers getting overlooked because at this stage, our 2 starting linebackers are Jabril Cox and the LSU kid. I've forgotten his name. Help me out.
Damon Clark.
There we go. Thank you very much. So that's our 2 start because LVE, I think they'll get it done. They've got to get it done.
They need to sign LVE. They have to. Like, for the season he produced, it shows how fundamental he was to the team.
Yeah.
Right? And our defense is not changing. We've got Dan Quinn back
for another year.
That's a saving grace for next year, for this upcoming season.
That was a win straight away.
Yeah, well, we can now finally say upcoming season because now the season's ended.
Yeah, because I think, but here's a crazy bit is Andre Carter. When I've watched him, and I'm trying to think how it would work, and what I'm thinking, Micah Parsons handing a dirt pass rusher on the opposite side of Tank. Andre Carter now plays from the 2-point stance as an outside linebacking pass rusher. Run defense is an issue with him, right? He's basically a truck on bicycle wheels, is how I've written it. And you see it. Huge upper body, massive upper body, small legs, low power. So you're not going to ask him to anchor in the middle. You're not going to want him to try and take too much on in the run game.
Yeah.
Like especially as well with setting the edge. You're not going to get that with him. But you got Micah Parsons on the other side doing that. So you're freeing this guy up to just boss around. And, he's not going to try and break in on blocks. Because, again, there's no lower power to do that. The only thing that's stopping me, and I've been trying to ask, I don't know if you've seen in the chat with Blogging the Boys, trying to find out what the exact rules are, because it's kind of like wishy-washy on what the rules are with service personnel. Because there used to be a rule where you could get drafted, but you couldn't play. Which is stupid. I think it was like for a year. But the rules, well, it is a law in America. The rules on it have changed. But basically over there, the Department of the Defense can defer their time. And this is the big sticking point for me with Andre Carter, that they can defer their military service. I can't remember for how long. And basically till their NFL career, and then they can do whatever's left. So that is there, but it's not guaranteed. And at any point, they can call him back for active duty. Would you want to spend a first-round pick on that? And that's what I've been trying to get.
A first round?
A first round. He's going to go in the first round.
No.
And that's my issue.
No, I would not do that.
He's first-round right. He's first-round talent, 100%. And I'll tell you why he is now. It'll blow your mind. So he's a first-round talent. But the sticking point for me is, well, then what happens with his military commitments? Like, how's that going to work? And just to give you an example, right, Paul, of how talented this guy is. Aiden Hutchinson last year, right, got drafted first overall. Aiden Hutchinson had less tackles, less sacks, less pressures than Andre Carter.
Here's the thing, though, Mike. Stats do not mean crap when it comes to. I'm sorry, but you've seen.
I know what you're saying.
We've seen guys in the lower spectrum in the draft with higher stats getting drafted, and people with like nearly next to zero stats getting drafted higher. This is one thing I do not understand how that works, but there's a reason why players get drafted low. It's because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Just because they have that stat line doesn't mean anything. It's what they actually do when they get to the pros.
I know.
But I'm sorry, I don't want to kind of stop talking about Andrew Carter because all the guys in the comments are banging about someone else right now, and that is let me get the guy's name, is Drew Sanders.
Okay.
So we've got Biden has me broke is commenting about it. It's like, we'll be the pick at 26. That's a great name. That's a great name. And if this is your first time on coming into the show, welcome, my friend. Welcome.
Yeah.
But we've had a couple of comments. DJ Dog saying that Andrew Carter suffered at the Senior Bowl. He's going up against better competition because he has the size and speed. He needs to be stronger.
He does lack the lower body strength.
But everyone keeps talking about like Drew Sanders.
To me,
being
though,
that guy.
I just think for, the grade I've given him. Hold on, I've given him. So he's a fringe second, third round pick for me. So like a late second, early third. But in terms of like everything, he's like so basically he's like an 80 grade in literally in every department. So there's like not really much wrong with him. Good height. He's got a good 40 time as well. For a guy of his size. It's
Again, this kind of like this is gonna be my whole thing about the draft every year. We've had players that should have been like a second round became a fourth round, i.e. Jabril Cox as a prime example.
You
That
want to
guy
talk
was
about Colbert?
and Tolbert. Yeah. People that should have been second.
Jalen Tolbert.
You really had to do that, didn't you?
For Jalen Tolbert.
Yeah. But you get my point. There's players
Yeah.
that there's players that should have been drafted higher. We got for an absolute bargain.
For a steal.
For an absolute steal. But there's players that fell down that should have been second rounds that got picked up, and there's a reason why they were drafted like that. So I'm just saying it's like not everything what we see right now is all the end all be all. Like everyone will have their own take on players being graded, etc. Like I really don't know in terms of the linebackers right now.
You'll like Nolan Smith when you start watching him. You'll be you'll be a Nolan Smith guy. You're going to come back on here after you've watched him and you'll be like, yeah, I'm a Nolan Smith guy. That's going to be you. I just know it because I know the type of guys that you like.
Hard hitting guys. That's what I like. I like guys that knock people out. So
yeah, I mean, like Sanders is a good linebacker. He does have issues because of his size. That's his biggest problem. And like I said, everything I've got marked down on here for him, he's like, like 80, 81, 70, 80. Like, there's not many guys like that. The only issue is there's your problem right there. Like, show me that one thing, especially for like a first or a second round guy. What's that one thing he does that's elite? Because that's what, like, if you need that one elite thing to make you a first or a second, I need that one thing to be the best, like the elite. And that's the only trouble with Sanders. I like him, great, player, but that's why I've got him as like a fringe second and third because there's an issue there. And he's a pure pass rusher, is what he is. He's a nice guy if you add as a DPR.
Do we really need an pass rusher though?
I mean, we were first in sacks.
We were first in sacks. Yeah. Sam Williams is going to have a more step up year. I mean, again, this kind of there's so many question marks right now because we are taking a different direction.
Yeah,
does the influence of the offensive new scheme going to take more precedence over our defense right now? That's another question.
What are they doing with Dorrance?
Yeah, is Dorrance going to get are we going to what is it a 2-year deal we had?
I believe so. Yeah.
So this would be his final year of his contract.
I think so. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean,
you need to have a plan, don't you? Is what you need.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, Jerry and Steven will have their top guy. Well, they'll have their guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But we'll see. We'll just need to wait and see. But as of right now, everything's all. For me anyway, I've not even stretched. I've not even touched the surface on certain positions yet, so I can't really possibly comment yet. So, and that's my homework for the next coming weeks. Is going to look at these other positions. It looks like it's a Drew Sanders. But primarily, I want to look at the guys in the later rounds because I think there's going to be some absolute bargains we're going to get.
There's a lot of, like those day 2, day 3. This is where the draft is going to be won this year. It's in day 2 and day. It's a tough draft, and that's where they always say it anyway. That first round's for the fan, day 2s for the team, day 3s for the scouts. So, but like day 2 is going to be, and like, this is the trouble with Dallas, is they always take the gamble in the second round. I don't think that's the year for it. Just go sensible. Don't be taking these high risk players. Just get who your best guys are with the positions in need and stick to it. Don't be taking these gambles, these risks. And that's just what I'm hoping for. I mean, do you have a guy who you would take in the first round at this stage? I know you're saying you haven't done your homework, but is there a guy?
It depends who's available.
Just anyone. Just who's your guy you would take that hovers around 26? Wide receiver, cornerback, inside offensive lineman? Would it be Torrance?
Osiris Torrance. Possibly. But if like and Jibba or Quentin Johnson was there, which is very, very unlikely, or even B. John would, like, I'll be perfectly honest, as much I don't like the pick, I'd still pick Robertson over that, but I don't want to pick a running back in the first round.
Nah.
But if that makes sense, but I know I'm not making any sense here. I'm not.
No, you are. Because like I'm with you, because like I wrote a piece on Blogging the Boys about running backs in the first round. And the issue with running backs is, historically, when you look through it, a running back's best production is during his rookie contract. That's the first 4/5 years if you're going to tag them for the fifth. So, or 6 if you take him in the first. So the issue is when you're giving them their first contract after their rookie contract, you're basically paying them for what they were, not what they will become, as it is with all the other, positions in the draft. So the issue you've got is, are you willing to spend a first round pick on a player that you're only going to have at his peak for the first half decade?
Well, I'll be perfectly honest with you, Mike. I think it's more on offensive skill positions are probably the only position, not just running back, but wide receiver as well, as the positions where if you give them a new contract, they don't really be up to expectations. Then again, we don't know about Michael Gallup yet. We don't know that yet.
Yeah.
But as history serves me best, who has really got, like, within the NFL, who's had either a running back or wide receiver who's got a brand new contract after their rookie year, has kept that momentum going. It's really hard to say that. There's not many. There's not many.
Brian did
he? No, not really.
Yeah, but from his rookie contract.
6.5 a dozen, mate. It's 6.5 a dozen.
Yeah. Wide receivers are slightly different. Obviously, tight ends are better as they get older. But running backs certainly are just like a case of you're paying for what they were after that contract as opposed to what they will become. But I am going to go outside now, Paul, because I can't smoke this in the house. So should we wrap things up and leave it at this stage?
Well, I'll tell you what, before we do, let's just have a slate at the Eagles fans. Why not? let's just take the last 5 minutes. Guys, get your comments in.
Emotional damage.
Let's just laugh at the Eagles. Why not? Like, because I genuinely thought, like, that game, like, I'll tell you something, though, Nick Bolton was fantastic in that game. He was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
A big part of why the Eagles weren't scoring in the second half. I don't get how the Eagles' offensive line, though, was just like not getting punished for false starts.
Mate, so
I still don't get it. I don't get what's going on there, how they are able to get away with that. An
Right,
offensive
so
lineman cannot move. They cannot twitch.
no,
They can't move
right,
their
right,
head,
right,
their hand. They can't
right.
do nothing.
No, so apparently Duke Manyweather addressed that, and I can't remember word for word, but basically, guards can do that. If you're a tackle, you can't. Like,
So guards and centers can just move
like,
about as much as they want.
not move about. It's basically you can rotate and actually have that communication. Because like when you compare it to like Zach Martin, he does the wee hand signal to indicate for the center to snap the ball.
Yeah.
You ever notice that Zach Martin goes
Yeah,
like it does the wee point. Like it's like when you see it from the TV, it's like it goes like that. Then the ball immediately snaps. It's the exact same situation what happened with number 56 for the Eagles. So, because I was screaming my head off where we were watching the game. I think it's crazy, but apparently it's in the rule book. And Duke Manyweather, the offensive lineman, guru coach, who's helped coach like Tyler Biadish and Terrence Steele in the off season, who's done a fantastic job. Guys, be sure to go and check the video out, and he'll explain it all why that may be the case. But there is a reason behind it why it never got flagged. If it was like Lane Johnson doing it, then that would have been 100%. But that doesn't beat the fact that Lane Johnson was actually jumping offside in that San Francisco game in the NFC Championship game, which I still find that was baffling. So, but there is elements of that Eagles O-line. It was really questionable. But when it comes to number 56, the guard, the right guard, he was actually all good, apparently.
Yeah. I think they were just playing that to their advantage because he got called. See, he did get called early in the game for offside or whatever you want to call it, false start. And then I think that they were just like, right, just turn and face. just look this way and move about so that it looks like you're communicating.
Yeah, so let me bring up all the comments, just mocking the Eagles. So, did you dog try? Eagles try. Fucking brilliant. Oh, excuse my language. Eagles fans got all the emotional damage. Yes, they
Emotional damage.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic.
And that's for DJ Dog's comments. Whenever it's from the Eagles comment, that sound will be heard. So,
yeah.
All right, then. Go on, Paul. Go on.
I was going to say, like, the back end, I thought the whole Juju Smith-Schuster scenario on Twitter was quite funny as well.
That was good. That was
I was like, oh, wow. That was just savage.
With AJ Brown.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fun and games.
But anyway, Eagles fans can suffer in Philly cheesesteaks for all I care.
They are cheesesteaks. Hit me with it, Paul.
Yes, guys, if you are planning on to a Dallas Cowboys game this upcoming season, like we are, be sure to go and check out cowboysexperience.com for meet and greets, stadium tours, game tickets, tailgating experiences, and much, much more.
Yeah.
Be sure to and also be sure to go and check out our fellow content creators. As you can see, we're a big game James there, Pick Six Sports, J-Tut there right in the middle for Cowboys fans only, CFO Sports, Blogging the Boys, where you can find myself and Meg Murray on, and Mike doing his articles for. All the official Cowboys channels, 105.3 The Fan, and our good friends from Canada, Cowboys Can Fan. Be sure to go check everybody out.
Yeah, and then the big news on the travel package, guys. So it is set. We are ready to rock and roll. The post is going to go up on the Cowboys social media tomorrow. But basically, you can now make your booking. When you make your booking, you pay your deposit, which gives you a profile where you can pay in installments, pay monthly, or all in one go. If you do that for the next month, for the next 3 weeks, I believe it is, basically your game day ticket and your Miller Lighthouse ticket will be in one payment. So basically you're paying for one thing rather than paying for one on the because they can be really expensive, especially at Thanksgiving.
Yes,
so massive discount.
You are getting Miller Lite access. Yeah. If anyone does not know what the Miller Lite access is, it's the section behind the sideline on where the players come out the tunnel. that's the Miller Lite Club.
You will be in the thick of it, and they will give you those tickets. And this was going to be on Thanksgiving too. Also, if you do it off the price that we quoted before, you're going to get an early bird discount by saying that you're with UK Cowboys of an extra $50 off. So far, you're looking at about $100 off the original price, over £100,
including an extra access to the Miller Lite Club, which is like worth, like, depending on the game, hundreds of dollars at least. Especially so for this Thanksgiving game, it's going to be worth a fair chunk of change.
Oh, yes. So we will give you the details on that. That is going to go up tomorrow. So you can basically make your booking. You tell them, you give them the details, hotel, how many nights hotel stay you want. Make sure you use the booking code UK Cowboys. You get all of that massive discount. Huge. So that's it, Mr. Paulius.
Yes. And just a big thank you to everyone that just came on to the show tonight. DJ Dor, Laboski, Joe from Italy,
all the usuals,
Arrivederci, and Biden guy. I can't remember his
the Biden guy. If somebody just dropped, that is a new drop.
That's a new one, the Biden guy. So I do apologize, but thank you for swinging by and the comments saying Ultra Cowboy, Butterfinger hurts. Amazing. It's Biden has me broke. That's what his name was. There we go. But yeah, we had Valentio on commenting. So guys, thank you once again for making the comments.
MVPs.
You guys are the MVPs. Because end of the day, we're all fans interacting, talking about Dallas Cowboys, and that's who we love. Not just world, not just America's team, but the world's team, my friends.
There you go. We're just your voice. That's all it is. But stay safe, guys. Have a great weekend. We'll be back Tuesday looking at six inside offensive linemen on the Prospect Project. Make sure to come and join us. Until then, Paul's going to have the last word. Stay safe, folks.
Dallas forever. Philly for never.